Albirex Niigata's fate was confirmed yesterday. Vissel Kobe are still in the title race. The two meet today at the DENKA Big Swan Stadium. It's match week 35 of J1. There are just 4 matches to go in the J1 campaign. Niigata relegated yesterday by Yokohama F. Marinos' victory, but they can still end the realistic title and indeed AFC Champions League elite qualification hopes of a Vissel team emerging from their latest continental adventure in midweek, bruised by defeat. Vissel Kobe 4th in J1 right now, 6 points behind Kashima Antlers with just these 4 matches to play. It is Vissel Kobe's match in hand after the Antlers and the Kyoto Saga and Kashiwa Reysol played yesterday. But if they don't win here, Vissel Kobe, that surely ends any lingering hopes of the three-peat for the two-time defending champions. It's a mismatch on paper. Albirex winless in 16 matches. They've just 6 victories in 39 games in total all season, and have scored just 3 goals in their last 7. That's why they're relegated. Vissel Kobe chasing AFC Champions League elite qualification at a minimum, but still have a chance, of course, of the big one, the title, to make it a hat-trick. 3 championships back to back. They're in the Emperor's Cup semi-finals as well. Plus they've won on the last 3 league visits here to Niigata. It all points to a positive outcome for Takayuki Yoshida's team. But crazy things happen as seasons wind down, as we know. Well, with Albirex Niigata already down, the temptation to go full experimental in his team selection has been resisted by Toru Irie. Australian international Jason Gurria at the back and Motaki Asegawa are the 2 changes from the team that lost to Tokyo Verdy last week. The 5th match of Albirex's last 7 in which they've failed to score. Of today's front 4, only Keito Taniguchi and Jin Okamura have found the back of the net for Albirex this season. Buda still yet to break his scoring duck for Albirex Niigata. Back on refereeing duty today in J1 for the first time in a month is Masuya Ueda. He showed red cards in his last 2 assignments, including to Vissel Kobe's Matthias Tula in Kobe's J.LEAGUE Cup quarter-final win over Yokohama FC at the start of last month. Shu Kawamata and Kota Watanabe are the VARs. Takayuki Yoshida rotates back in his strongest team today. The only starter from the AFC Champions League elite team in Korea in midweek is the left-back Nagato. The only change from the team that drew with the Antlers 9 days ago is Haruya Ide for the injured Eric. That means top scorer Taisei Miyashiro starts on the left of the front 3 today, having usually caused most of his havoc this season from positions in behind the forwards. Assistant to Daisuke Komori, and then his replacement when Komori was sacked in June. Toru Irie is still yet to win as Niigata coach, 15 matches and counting now. As a player, he had a brief spell with Vissel Kobe in the 2000s. A player for Kobe too, Takayuki Yoshida, a decade and a half on, the 48-year-old has cemented club legend status for his contribution now as head coach, from relegation contenders to back-to-back champions in the space of 3 years, and it still could be 3 in a row. fabulous travelling support as ever. Getting behind Vissel Kobe today. They expect victory. Nothing to lose. That's Albirex Niigata's situation now. They're relegated. Big game at the Big Swan Stadium. Albirex Niigata may be down, but they can still affect the title race in Japan by disrupting Vissel Kobe's hunt for a third straight J1 championship. Victory for Vissel today in their game in hand will lift them back up past Kyoto Sanga into third, 3 points behind the Antlers with 3 matches to play. It would also mean the top 4 would be separated by just 5 points. J1 has a rich tradition of close finishes, and we can set to add 2025 to that list. There are likely to be more thrills and spills and twists and turns before the season has its final match day in early December. Vissel Kobe in the wide, attacking early. A useful cross in from the right-hand side. We've got Muto on the right there. Miyashiro usually plays in behind the front 3. He is the top scorer with 11 goals. Come to rely on Yuya Osako in the last 2 title-winning seasons, but playing a little bit deeper and not getting any younger. Yuya Osako still a key member of the team, but often acts as a link-up player these days. So Ide and Kawasaki as the 2 behind Miyashiro and Osako, and Muto, because Eric had to be withdrawn after barely half an hour against Kashima Antlers 9 days ago. 0-0 that match. Another huge fixture, that one. They're all big at this stage of the season, but with title contenders playing each other, top of the table shifts around pretty quickly. It was a fabulous match, that, even though it finished goalless. Have to see how Albirex Niigata approach this one. Buda to be operating as the lone striker, the Swedish youth international, Abdurrahman Buda for Niigata. Joined mid-year from Hammarby in Sweden. No goals yet. 10 appearances, 7 starts. Kobe looking to establish dominance early here. A nudge through there for Miyashiro. And the cross from Ide. Closer up and over Osako, and Muto not quite able to make it on the blind side there. It's only a 6th start in the 2025 J1 campaign for Haruyu Ide. But bright enough start in the drizzle here on Japan's northern coast, joined by Takayuki Yoshida. Successful caretaker in J.League history, I have to say. When he took over in the middle of the 2022 season, they were dead last and worrying about relegation. Vissel Kobe, extraordinary turnaround. He steadied them in the middle of that 2022 season, was the 3rd coach in 2022 when he was installed. Them from relegation threatened, a rather miserable club, into back-to-back champions. Dispensed with the idea of signing Galacticos as well. There's a lesson. Club of Iniesta and Juan Mata, briefly Lucas Podolski. It's all about homegrown talent, and in the case of Osako and Muto returning Japanese players as well after seeking fame and success and fortune in European football. Kobe setting up their stall early here. Kawa back in goal. Shuichi Gonda there. Start for the backup keeper Gonda in Gang 1 in the week. Extraordinary match that in AFC Champions League competition. Miyashiro came off the bench, scored twice, came back from 2-0 down. Jean-Patrick on target as well, only to then concede in stoppages at the end to lose 4-3. It was the first slip-up in AFC Champions League Elite this season for Vissel Kobe. Shimamura. Fujiwara. From right fullback, Soya Fujiwara. Chance to get the ball in the box here for MEIJI Shirai, and maybe not. Work it round the houses. Sugeria, the Australian international. Played themselves into a little bit of trouble here. Albirex Niigata. Vissel Kobe come forward. There's the overlapping fullback. Two in the middle. The ball was arrowed back towards Yoshimoto. Nicely defended. They got themselves into needless trouble there, Niigata. Taniguchi. And the pass is misplaced. Kawasaki. Ino. Ryo Kawasaki. Here's Tula. Rock solid. Tula alongside Yamakawa at the back, the captain for Vissel Kobe. Fujiwara. Shirai. Takuya Shimamura. Here's MEIJI Shirai. Area who joined at the start of the year from Melbourne Victory. Confident of being a starter for Australia in the World Cup next year. This is better from Niigata. It's Jin Okamura. He's done really well there, Okamura, and sends in the cross as well. Was aiming for Buda. A little bit of pressure here from Albirex Niigata. It's a curious dynamic here of having absolutely nothing to lose now. The bid to save J1 status is done and dusted and over. It's always a tall order for them to avoid relegation, but dumped down into J2 because of Yokohama F. Marinos' victory yesterday. The corner here, which is going to be taken by Kento Hashimoto, the left back. Delivery, it's the skimmed header wide. Enough white shirts in there holding their defensive stations. There's no doubt that confidence has been a huge problem, and struggling for any kind of consistency or genuine goal-scoring threat from anywhere, really. Albirex Niigata. It's horrible recent run to to go back to 15th of June for Albirex last win against Yokohama F Mariners here with a Danilo Gomez winner. Lifted up and over Hashimoto, able to clear. Won just 4 of 34 all season. There's the ball into the near post, and Vissel Kobe close to an opening goal. Haruya Ide had made a smart run across. Off the bar, second phase attack, and Yuya Osaka just nods it to the grateful arms of Ryoya Tashiro there. It was a super run there by Haruya Ide. Ahead there of Osako and Muto. It's what they do so well. The Vissel Kobe, it's normally Miyashiro in that position. That's why he's got 11 goals this season. Close to opening the scoring. Tashiro beaten. Ide's 6th start, hasn't scored in J1 in 2025. So close to a vital early goal there. It's the reason things are so tight at the top. Kyoto Sanga and Akashi Miranda's met yesterday. Kyoto Sanga were 1-up, deep into stoppages. There's Osako, spilled by the goalkeeper. No one following in there to punish Ryoya Tashiro. It was twice down the right now. Vissel Kobe have threatened. A clean connection from Osako. Down to 6 goals this season from 18 starts. Yuya Osako. His 5th year back in Japan. Likewise Yoshimoto. Well into their 30s now. There's Yamakawa. Hasn't been too much chopping and changing of the squad since these back-to-back titles. Eric, an emergency signing brought in from Machida Zelvia, the only big addition to the team that won last year's title. Well played, Hashimoto. Good recovery there. Here's Tula. It's been huge for Vissel Kobe. Matheus Tula, the big Brazilian defender, added these 2 J1 titles to his Copa Libertadores victory as a Flamengo player in 2019. Pops up with some important goals as well. 12.5 minutes gone here at the Big Swan Stadium. Albirex Niigata 0, Vissel Kobe 0. Niigata relegated from J1 for the 2nd time. Finished 2nd bottom in 2017. Was in an 18-team top division. And ended the 14-year stint in J1. Five years in J2 before getting promoted as 2nd division winners in 2022. They're going to have to do it all over again. Here comes Vissel Kobe once more. Cross isn't good. The 2 in the box, overhit. Nagato switching the angle of attack. 6 is Ogiara. Big diagonal swung by Ogiara. Here's Osako, that's nicely done. Osako, well defended. Osako gets another bite at it. There's the ball back. And Kawasaki larrups it wide. It's a good-looking situation there. from Vissel Kobe. First attempt repelled from Osako. Decent little find there to Yuya Kawasaki. Really need to take that on as early as he did. Rather reckless finish in the end in the circumstances from Yuya Kawasaki. That was the earlier header from Osako. Really not convincing at all, that, was it, from Yuya Tashiro? Problems in all departments this year for Niigata, including in that goalkeeper's spot. Gone through 3 keepers this season, ending with Tashiro. Just haven't been able to find a solution anywhere after the dismissal of the previous coach, Daisuke Komori. It was in June. Started with a defeat against Avispa Fukuoka. Lost his first 7 in charge. Toru Erie. Just the 3 points since June in draws against Kawasaki Frontale here and Nagoya Grampus, Fagiano Okayama, and most recently a couple of weeks ago. Forward by Tashiro. Issue maybe with Abdul Rahman Buda. Here's Nagato. Ide. Nice movement. Miyashiro towards Osako. Challenge good enough. That's Yamakawa. Failed there, Tetsushi Yamakawa. Has been a huge part of the success they've had over the last 6 years. All the club's trophies, a couple of leagues, a couple of Emperor's Cups have come since 2019. The year Yamakawa established himself as a first-choice defender. Osako runs out of room. Ayakawa. Asegawa. Fujiwara. Takuya Shimamura here to Fujiwara. Shirai. There's the diagonal. Shimamura in there, but Nagato patrolling the situation. Perfectly competently there for Vissel Kobe. Some reasonably intricate possession and passing from Niigata, but no hint of any goal-scoring threat thus far. Buda doesn't seem to be moving particularly freely or loosely as the main striker. Shimoto to Tashiro. Osako will charge it down, given away rather cheaply. Ogihara, Nagato. Crossfield again for Muto. Kawasaki. Ino. Done well there. A little bit tight. Wrap his boot around the ball, send it across. So just about keeping Vissel Kobe at bay here, Albirex Niigata. Distinguished playing career for Takayuki Yoshida. Of course, it's as the coach of Vissel Kobe that he's come to prominence. He was appointed in the summer of 2022, which is third time appointed as a stopgap coach after the previous managerial changes at the Nové Stadium. Third time lucky in terms of the club sticking with him. He won Asian Cup Winners' Cup with the Yokohama Flugels back in the mid-90s. Yoshida. Buddha. Now they rush the pass forward. Tula. Caught in possession there, Vissel Kobe. Taniguchi can try and create something. It's Shirai, and Makawa has to save. That's better from Albirex Niigata. That's going to make things interesting if they can play with a degree of abandon and just find some confidence coming forward. Shirai is bending that inside Mekawa's left-hand post. Ideal height for the keeper, but it still needed saving. Shirai from Kashiwa Reysol was one of the newcomers this season. It made things very interesting at the top of the table. Had that bent in. Albirex Niigata have the corner here. Rain's getting heavier. Osako was there. Defensive header from the striker. Okumura. Geria. Buda. Tried that little layoff there into Kaito Taniguchi. Shimamura. The early ball up and over the top that time. Easy deck. Finding little pockets of space here with MEIJI YASUDA. Kitsuya Nagato. Ino cuts it back. Glance wide. Nice build-up play again from Vissel Kobe. Plenty of room here for Nanasino. Play with their fullbacks high. Day just has to backtrack a little to get any purchase on that header. Can't turn it into an assist or a genuine attempt on target. Creating chances, but not much end product thus far from Vissel Kobe. Nice little touch on there by Osako for Ide. A little bit more territory gained. Right under the nose of the referee's assistant over the ball, across the line. Foul either, it's a throw in here. So there. Nothing doing again for Vissel Kobe. The big question is, Can they maintain this title push? It looks unlikely, even with a win here today. Given the way the Antlers just keep finding a way to keep their noses in front in the title race, plus the demands of fighting on multiple fronts. And another AFC Champions League elite matchup coming at the Novice Stadium against Ulsan HG. They've got their Emperor's Cup semi-final against Sanfrecce Hiroshima as well. I mean, a really busy November. To the completion of the J1 season, another AFC Champions League tie as well before we get to Christmas. The depth of the Vissel Kobe squad is such that Takayuki Yoshida basically plays an entirely new team in continental competition. 10 changes in all from the midweek match. Played Ide. Awkward bounce on that. So Nagato providing the cover, and Tula back to Mekawa. Yamakawa. Vissel had won their first 2 matches in AFC Champions League elite in the League Zone group this season before a 4-3 defeat at Gangwon. Shanghai Port beaten Melbourne City. Club that started the calendar year of 2025 in last season's AFC Champions League elite. Survived the group stage in the rebooted format of that competition before losing in the second round again against Korean opposition. Gwangju actually won the first leg of that second round match at home 2-0, but were then beaten 3-0 in Korea in the second leg, which meant they didn't make the final stage in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Guerrilla there on Osako. Niigata snapping in. That's a little bit better. Here's Taniguchi. Gets back. Taniguchi makes the long pass early. Yamakawa read it. Yamakawa hoists that forward. As Ide was caught. To stop play. Check on Haruya Ide here. Very busy player, Ide. Really useful. By no means the first choicer in the league for Vissel Kobe, but really useful backup. Key player in each of the last 2 title-winning seasons. You look across the Kobe team, they've managed to keep the core of the team together that's won these back-to-back titles. Osako, Muto and Ide, Ogiara, Yamakawa, Tula, Ino, Mekawa. Not bad going, is it? Even other players who perhaps haven't won the first of those titles have come in with previous J1 title winning experience, like Katsuya Nagato, who won J1 with the Marinos in 2022. Even Miyashiro, who won the title with Kawasaki Frontale in 2020, part of that incredible Frontale team. Is Kawasaki. Nagato. Tula. Trying to combine again with Muto. It's nicely done by Hashimoto. And there's the ball into space. Buda chasing. Super anticipation there by Mekawa. Geria. That's the problem, we're sitting a little bit deeper. Pass up and over, Shimamura. Just gifted possession straight back to Vissel Kobe there. Miyashiro. He's dispossessed in turn. Asegawa. Okumura. Back from Buda. Tula. Taniguchi. Kimura is Buda. Rahman Buda. Bit off more than he could chew there. Back it comes for Albirex. Asegawa. Geria. Fujiwara. Nagato trying to snap back at him. Here's Shirai. You see the intention. He's got the pass back to Mekawa wrong and made that interception. It's a rather cheap corner to consider in the circumstances here. Just 3 goals in the last 7 matches for Albirex Niigata. Corner short. Okumura. How to look a gift horse in the mouth. From the corner to rotating it all the way back through their goalkeeper for Albirex Niigata. And 4 matches in a row without scoring. Between the match weeks 28 and 31. 3 straight 1-0 defeats against the Reds, against Espos and Yokohama FC, then goalless against Nagoya Grampus. Did manage 2 in a 4-2 defeat at Gamba the end of September, and 1-1 here. Last time out at home at the Big Swan against Fagiano Okayama. Of course, last week's defeat at Tokyo Verdy. Miyashiro. Ogiara. Nudge over the top. Black stayed down. The ball across, and Ide is denied at the last. Oh, they're picking him out. Aroya Ide. Just can't find the end product at the moment, Vissel Kobe. Then Miyashiro. It was a trick, wasn't it, on Jason Geria. Niigata got on with it quickly. odd quirk of the season, it has to be said, that amidst all the doom and gloom, Albirex Niigata did win at the Novice Stadium, the return fixture. Match week 9, 6th of April. Won by a goal to nil there. Buda delayed the pass a little too long, did he? Well, maybe not. There might still be an opportunity with Shimamura, and just breaks down at the last when somebody really needs to take responsibility and just shoot. Muto, quick transition this from Vissel Kobe. Here's Taisei Miyashiro. Nagato in support. Miyashiro again. Now Niigata got everyone back at their defensive stations. That's Yamakawa. With the cross. Ide was in there. He's been caught as well. Like Polax, and he looks hurt inside the box here. And then Nagato tees it up. Kawasaki was trying to challenge Tashiro there, and he's launched into that header, Ide, and he's hurt. Now, this was the incident. There he is, Ide. Geria with the contact. Just a split second off in his timing, but no blame apportioned to the defender there. And just a moment for reflection and a breather here. He's been getting forward really well. Haruya Ide. He's taken a clattering there. You can see the amount of blood that's been produced. Full force of that challenge. The downward sort of heading motion of Jason Geria has hit Haruya Ide on the nose there. Buda there, desperate for a goal for Albirex Niigata. A bit hit and miss so far. Yeah, that is streaming. So blood injury here. He'll have to be removed from the fray. They'll have to patch that up. Just disrupts the flow of what has been a pleasingly tempoed match here at the Big Swan Stadium. Yeah, wait anxiously on news of the prognosis for one of his key midfielders, Takayuki Yoshida. Time will be loaded onto the end of the first half. In fact, the Vissel Kobe are wearing their change white strips here. Gives you that visual reference of just how painful and bloody that problem is for Haruya Ide. That much in it in terms of the possession stats, 52% for Vissel Kobe in this first half. Shirai with that ball forward. That's a useful turn from Jin Okamura. Options left and right. Stubs it back to Matoki Asegawa. There's Suya Fujiwara. Fujiwara again. Just wait that extra beat before swinging the ball in. That allowed Miyashiro to get back and cut the ball out. Geria. Asegawa. Everyone behind the ball for Vissel Kobe. Do Niigata have the craft and guile to just weave through? Kept at bay right now. There's the positive ball forward, a little bit too high for Buda. Second ball won by Vissel Kobe. Miyashiro gets the foot in up towards Osako. Well, did well initially to protect the ball there, or so it seemed. Yuya Osako just allowing Ide into possession. Back on the field now, Haruya Ide. Ayakawa taking the shirt off Yuya Osako's back. Nothing doing with the Albirex Niigata possession. Suitably patched up. Osako just tried the little flick. Second ball won again by Kobe. There's Osako. Ball came into him at an awkward height. He couldn't shield it from Muto, and then Kawasaki can't sort his feet out in time. Kick the volley down. Becoming a little frustrating this now for Vissel Kobe. No problem in getting into forward areas, as is often the way with Yoshida's team, but this final ball, end product, is not happening right now. The busier goalkeeper really has been Daya Meikawa, tipping around Eiji Shirai's attempt. Best chance of the first half has been created by the team destined for J2. Lovely ball in for Buda. Didn't quite have the pace to get there. Ervino. Danger alarm sounding again though for Vissel Kobe. That was Buda. Straightforward ball across to him. Past Ino. It was Tula who had to cover. Do anything with the throw. Osako tightly out again there by Fumiya Ayakawa. It's the spoiler's job trusted to Fumiya Ayakawa today on Yuya Osako. 16 years since he won J1 with Kashima Antlers. Yuya Osako. Fabulous player, all told. Decorated international for Japan, scored at the World Cup, Russia 2018. Career swan song would be provided with this third title win, even a second place finish in J1 gets a spot in next season's AFC Champions League Elite. the 100-year future tournament, which will be arranged in the first half of 2026 when J1 reverts to an August start as of the second half of next year. The winner of that interim tournament will provide the third qualifier from Japan for AFC Champions League in 2026-2027 season. Nagato swings in the early cross. There's Osako trying to hang in the air there. There's nothing for the contact. There's Okumura, Taniguchi, Fujiwara. 3 minutes to be added on at the end of the first half here. Gets it pretty modest there after that stoppage. Injury to Haruya Ide. Segawa. Hashimoto. Segawa again. Slid in. Nice throw. Osaka. Muto. Tula. Is Ide. Nagato on the sprint. Outside it. Ide. Runs out of options. Has to use Nagato. There's the 1-2. That's nicely done. If Ide can cut that across. Just that little bit of creativity and spark there that gets them beyond the last man. Finishing the first half on top at least here. The Vissel Kobe desperately searching for this opening goal. Puts the pressure back on the teams above them in J1. Miyashiro to take it. Boost it would be for Vissel Kobe. If they find an opening goal, the last activity of the first half. It's certainly a possibility. It's a reality. As Yuya Osako nods home on the stroke of half-time for 1-0 Vissel Kobe. Wow. They're going to look across and see if there's any VAR involvement here. It was all a little bit busy inside the penalty area as the corner was sent in. Nudged back there for Yuya Osako. And he just nods that accurately down past Tashiro. Kobe with a crucial opening goal, and that deflates Niigata on the stroke of half-time here. Literally with the last action of the first half. Yuya Osaka on target for the first time since the 4-0 win over Tokyo Verdy back end of last month. It's only his 7th J1 goal of the season, but it could be one of the most significant in terms of the direction of the title. They laboured for large parts of that first half here at the Big Swan Stadium, Vissel Kobe, but crucially will go in at the break, a goal up. Yuya Osako in the nick of time. Vissel Kobe's three-peat title dream is still on, just about in the drizzle here in Niigata. Half-time, Albirex Niigata 0, Vissel Kobe 1.
J リーグはこれまで常に進化を続けてきた。そして2026年未来に向けて次の大きな一歩を踏み出す。時代の変化とともにアジアをそして世界を見据えたシーズンへ、この歴史的な挑戦の第一歩が明治安田 J リーグ100年構想リーグ。1993年に10クラブで始まった J リーグは30年余りの時を経て今や60クラブに。それぞれの町の誇りを胸に日本サッカーの未来を切り開いてきた。だからこそこの特別な大会は地域に根ざしてスタートする。さあ地域での激闘を超え世界へ羽ばたけ。 J リーグの新たな時代が今始まる。明治安田 J1100 年構想リーグは2025シーズンの結果に基づいた J120 クラブが参加。地域リーグラウンドでは東と西2つのグループに分かれ、各クラブホーム&アウェーの18試合を実施。勝利クラブは勝ち点3を得る。90分で勝負がつかない場合には PK 戦で決着をつける。 PK 戦勝利クラブには勝ち点2、敗北クラブにも勝ち点1が加算される。続くプレーオフラウンドでは1位から20位まで全20クラブの最終順位を決定する。地域リーグラウンドの同じ順位同士がホーム&アウェーで対戦し、合計得点で決着をつける。2試合を終えて合計得点が同点の場合のみ延長戦へ。それでも決着がつかない場合には PK 戦となる。プレーオフラウンド優勝クラブはアジアクラブの頂点を目指す大会 AFC チャンピオンズリーグエリート2026-27の出場権が獲得できる。また地域リーグラウンドでは勝ち点1ごとに特別助成金をクラブに支給。勝ち点1あたり200万円、勝ち点3で勝利すれば600万円、全勝すれば1億800万円を獲得できる。さらに最終順位による賞金は優勝1億5000万円、準優勝6000万円、3位3000万円が与えられる。なおこの大会における降格は行われない。地域ごとにしのぎを削る地域リーグラウンドから1位から20位まで直接対決で順位をつけるプレーオフラウンドまで全200試合。2026年新たな時代が始まる。明治安田 J1100 年構想リーグ。
Welcome back to the Big Swan Stadium. Second half is upon us here. Albirex Niigata 0, Vissel Kobe 1. Vissel Kobe sharpening those elbows, remaining in the J1 title race. Haruya Ide was heavily involved in that first half, hit the bar, he took a whack in the face and got a bloody nose for that one, and is replaced here for the start of the second half by Daiju Sasaki. He's a more than capable replacement striker. Normally 4 goals this year. He's featured 27 times. Off the bench for the 4th time, Sasaki. Off the bench in the Champions League tie in Korea in the week. There shouldn't be too much problem with the transition. Second half underway. Albirex Niigata 0, Vissel Kobe 1. Yuya Osako with a vital header at the end of the first half, the very end of the first half. His 7th J1 goal of the season. And that means at the midway point here, they're back on their way up into 3rd place. Vissel Kobe in J1 and breathing down the neck still of Kashima Antlers at the top. It has to be a win today to take advantage of the Antlers and Kyoto Sanga taking points off each other yesterday. So we know that Yuma Suzuki scored deep into stoppages. It could have been even worse for the Antlers. They've opened up the title race again, good and proper, with these 3 match days only to go after today. But the tradition J1 has of late season finishes is well documented. This is the 20th anniversary of, not just in Japan, but one of the most dramatic final day denouements in any season anywhere, when 5 teams went into the last day with a chance of winning the title. Added to that drama was the fact that the 2 Osaka clubs were involved. Sorenso went from 1st to 5th in the space of 90 minutes. Gamba won the title just to rub salt into the wounds. We wonder if we're heading for something similar at the end of 2025, which will be the last year of the calendar year football season in Japan before, there we go, autumn to spring, 26-27. They showed flashes of potential going forward. Niigata, nothing wrong with the build-up play on occasion. It's just the way they struggle to end the attack that's the issue. Takuya Shimamura, who's the player on loan from Kashiwa Reysol. 12th appearance since joining in July. It's the game's first yellow card. Throw in here for Vissel Kobe. Osako, Guerrier there, nicely done. Quite fine, Fujiwara. Getting it away again here. It's the ball in by Aguilera. Lovely little assist there by Osako. Masaya Ueda had a look at it, but doesn't give the penalty. They had the on-rusher. That is the way they try to take teams apart, Vissel Kobe. Osako drops short, effectively becomes a link-up man rather than a target man, even though he plays in the middle of the front 3. And with a little assist there into Miyashiro. And both sets of players had hearts in mouths for different reasons there. We are going to go to VAR. So Masuya Ueda converses with Shu Kawamata and Kota Watanabe. Deep in the bowels of the stadium there. There's Miyashiro. Takes that tumble. Was there sufficient contact there from Suya Fujiwara? Possibility for things to get way more comfortable for Vissel as they chase these 3 vital J1 points. Masaya Ueda called over to have a look at the monitor. So the picture on the left is perhaps the one we need to be looking at. The right arm grazes down the side of Miyashiro. Is he tumbling, anticipating the contact, leveraging the contact? The defender does lean in a little bit. Six of one, half a dozen of the other, maybe. 20 people in a room, 10 will say that's a penalty, 10 will say Miyashiro is looking for it. This is the man whose opinion matters, and it is a penalty kick. So we went to VAR. Masuya Ueda trotted over to have another look at it. He's decided that the contact was sufficient to award this spot kick now. Looking for his second goal of the match, Yuya Osako. One of their big players with all the experience and with all the trophies in his cabinet. A massive chance here to put Vissel Kobe properly on the road to victory. Oh, delightful. So cool, so composed. A penalty kick of quality from Yuya Osako at the start of the second half. Goals either side of the break. Just either side of the break for Yuya Osako. Albirex Niigata 0, Vissel Kobe 2. They are still very much in this title shake-up. Gives Tashiro the eyes. Plants the kick into the opposite corner. Disaster for Toru Ire and Albirex at the start of the second half. Way more comfortable now. Vissel. Osako at the brace. He scored 2 against Gamba back in May. 2 against Nagoya Grampus in February at the very start of the season. Matchweek 2 that was. And here he is again delivering the goods. Yuya Osako, the grand old age of 35. Niigata got to make sure they don't crumble here. Vissel Kobe have got to make sure they keep composed in forward areas. Could really go for the jugular now as Nagato surge forward on the left-hand side. Yellow card shown as well to Suya Fujiwara for the concession of that penalty kick. Well, if he's not careful, he'll be going half a season without winning. Toru Ire. Doesn't look like a win today, does he? Not against a Kobe team hungry for more. Tashiro. Able to switch it to Hashimoto. Segawa. Fujiwara moving forward. Chance for the cross with Taniguchi. Shirai. Hashimoto. Weaves his way in field and then he can't pick the lock. Safely through to Meikawa. Oh, what a final few weeks of the season we have. So we've got to go to Gamba for Vissel Kobe. Home against FC Tokyo. Last day away at Kyoto Sanga, looking for number 3. Osako with a volley, straight at Tashiro. And that Kyoto Sanga Vissel Kobe match, 6th of December. It could be extraordinary, couldn't it? Those two teams still gunning for the title, or at least that's how things stand now. You look at the Antlers run in, Yokohama FC threatened by relegation, like Albirex, destined for J2 right now. Tokyo Verdy away, and then the Marinos at home. I mean, the pressure off for Yokohama F Marinos in a sense. Club title winners as recently as 2022. They have seen Champions League finalists as recently as last summer. Spent most of this 2025 campaign threatened by relegation, a cloud over them, but it seems that they're out of the woods now. Impossible to predict how things will go over the last 3 weeks. Nanase Ino here with the throw. Sasaki was caught. Barely remember him having a touch since coming on for Ari Ide at half-time. Daiji Sasaki. So uses that contact with Jun Okamura. Yamakawa. The best pass by Yamakawa, but Kobe have dug back in to win it. Kawasaki, is Ino able to switch it? Plenty of white shirts inside the area here, and it bobbles away finally from Katsuya Nagato. Looking good, cutting through Niigata with ease here. Super run forward by Nanase Ino. Good block as well on the attempt. And Kawasaki. Gary up. Very loose from a fading Albirex Niigata. Kawasaki floats in the cross, nothing doing. Relegation this year confirms the fall from grace of Albirex Niigata. J2 winners as recently as 2022. They reached the J.LEAGUE Cup final just a year ago. And gave Nagoya Grampus a fair old run for their money at the National Stadium in Shinjuku as well. 3-3 with Nagoya Grampus, edged out of it on penalties, finally 5-4. A year later, rock bottom in J1. Shimoto, the beaten ball is forward for Ino, super early cross. Yashiro making a beeline for that near post. They are going for it, aren't they, Vissel Kobe? Want to put this one to bed with further goals. Fujiwara. Tashiro sweeps it up and over. Dealt with between them by Yamakawa and Ino. Muto drifted over to the left-hand side. Vissel Kobe lost their last 2 matches on their travels. Of course, that midweek reversal across the water in Korea at Gangwon. But Uruwa Reds, their last away day in J1 on the 4th of October. Big win before that at Shanghai Port. First match day in AFC Champions League elite. Beaten by Yokohama FC. Haven't actually won away in J1 since the 20th of August. Takayuki Yoshida perhaps set to switch it up again. We've hit the hour mark here. Matus Marais being readied for Niigata. Ready to come off the bench. Geria. Commanding run out from the back there by the Aussie. Ayakawa. Taniguchi, here's the layoff. Runs aground, just not the requisite quality. Once more from Albirex Niigata coming forward. Mid-season arrival into Niigata. Matthias Marais has scored for them in 8 appearances thus far. It's his 4th time off the bench, and no great surprise here to see Abdulrahman Buda being the player replaced. Struggled to have any impact. Doesn't look fully fit, in truth, I don't think, Buda. But Marais comes in. And we've got Rikuta Erosa as well, the straight switch for Nanase Ino at the right-sided fullback. Erosa off the bench for the 9th time this season. Started the Champions League match in midweek, Erosa. Very much part of the Champions League starting team. Osaka as well to begin with, and then has his pocket picked. Hasegawa, Hashimoto. Hashimoto still going, 2 covering. Doesn't get a break as well. Ball just cannons back off the Albirex player. They're in for the goal kick. Making a nuisance of himself as ever. Sasaki. Miyashiro. There's the overlapper. Isako in the middle. Swept behind by Ayakawa. Yamakawa, here's Tula. Tula. All very comfortable now for Vissel Kobe. Mekawa. It's the immediate switch up. So quickly they can turn sort of a defensive situation into one of promising attack. Overlapping player. And that spill by the goalkeeper. Almost number 3. That would have wrapped it up. Miyashiro there steaming in after that spill by Tajiro. Couldn't add number 3. Super transition again from Vissel Kobe. Quickly, they can switch it up. Asegawa for Hashimoto. Clever ball in! What a chance that was. Wonderful chance, but put wide by Taniguchi. It's the outside of the boot pass here into Taniguchi. Made the run. Shame about the finish. He wanted to just flick it inside there, Kaito Taniguchi. Wasn't scored since the 21st of June, 12 matches ago. Again, it doesn't help their overall cause, but kind of given cause for panic for Vissel. Osako tried that first time pass, still hungry, still snapping in for possession. Yoshida's visiting team. Ayakawa. Shimoto does the runner again. Zeus Morais does really well there. Just can't connect with that run of his teammate who was well forward, Jin Okamura. But just offering a little bit of sparkle. Matthias Morais here held it up well in the circumstances. Nice little attempted assist as well, but again, strength in numbers, safety in numbers there for Vissel. Man, thinking, dissolve the danger. Do like him a lot, Matthias Tula. He's good on the ball, big and strong. Threat from set pieces. It's a huge part of their success. Tula and Yamakawa at the back. Now Shida. Hashimoto. High press again as they fall back towards their own goal once again. Albirex Niigata. Taniguchi as an overlapper. Back to Kaito Taniguchi. Hashimoto. Found some energy from somewhere here, Albirex Niigata. Clip up and over there from Hasegawa. Taniguchi again. Hasegawa. Ayakawa. Hashimoto then. Shida. Hasegawa. As if the fullback to bomb on there. Vissel Kobe standing firm. Shirai once more, breaking the lines is Okumura there. That man, Tula, standing in the way of any potential Albirex Niigata progress. Hashimoto, still going Hashimoto, sliding across Hiroza. Substitute there, trying to shut down the angle of attack. Kento Hashimoto. Why not come forward? Why not go for it? That's the Niigata approach here. Yusuke Ideguchi now, ready to come on for Vissel Kobe. Midfield player, fresh legs in that engine room. That's the idea behind this change, I think. Tashiro swings it long. Shimamura, Fujiwara, Morais does well. Checks back there, Morais just doesn't have the elevation on it that was required. Muto gives it away. This is Shirai. Muto again. That's a lucky break here for Vissel Kobe. Maybe the chance of a quick sucker punch. Ryo Osaka. Yeah, just gives himself that extra beat, doesn't he, Osaka? Before working out his options. It's Muto placing the cross from the left. Gathered by Tashiro. But just another reminder. Vissel Kobe on that quick transition and the counter-attack and how direct they can be. As we move into the last 20 minutes, the Big Swan World Cup Stadium from 2002. Morais. Opportunities here for Albirex Niigata, a 3-on-3 situation. It's Taniguchi, chose the wrong option. Sasaki got back. Geria. That's poor. What a plate there for Ogiara. Muto's done well. It's a delightful pass through for Miyashiro, who loses his footing. It's a lovely run from deep there by Miyashiro. Likewise, Morais gets forward. Mekua reads it superbly. Sasaki. Sasaki. Ogiara. That was Nagato. Shirai. It could have been so different, couldn't it? Had his effort crept in and past Mekawa in the first half, but Albirex had a good spell of possession and pressure as they're enjoying now. Morais with the layoff and in. Lovely finish. Shimamura pulls one back for Albirex Niigata. It was the positivity and aggression in attack that has been sorely lacking thus far, that Albirex Niigata have finally discovered with just over 15 minutes to go. Morais has given the home side an extra dimension since coming on. He was the grease in the wheels of this move. Little layoff there for Takuya Shimamura to rifle home. First goal since arriving on loan from The Kashiwa Reysol in July for Shimamura, and it's game on again here at the Big Swan Stadium. Lovely finish, emphatic smash past Mekoa in off the underside. Just as the coach is readying Yoshiaki Takagi as well to add a little bit of extra spice to the attack. For the neutral, it's fascinating now. Takuya Shimamura pulling one back here for Albirex Niigata. A team that struggle for goals, produce a goal of quality. Katsuki, Takagi and Origome in this three-pronged switch. Taniguchi, Okumura and Hashimoto are the players who will sit the remainder of this one out. 15 minutes to go. Kawasaki withdrawn as well for Edegichi as Takayuki Yoshida makes another change. Origome, substitute involved straight away. There's belief again. They're flooding through Albirex Niigata. Yute Origome. Shimamura, she tries to feed it across, and Moraes was drifting in there on the far side. There is belief again now in Albirex Niigata. Well, it will be one heck of a story if they can derail Takayuki Yoshida and Vissel Kobe from this point on. We shall see. Here's the Albirex corner. It's a deep one as well. Moraes there. There's all manner of problems. Matthias Moraes. Fujiwara will try to get forwards. Offside called in there by the looks of things here. And just in amidst those changes, Yamato Wakatsuki has come in. First year for the youngster in the Niigata first team. They are, of course, thinking about a fresh season in J2 now, this club. Highly rated young player wearing 18. We shall see if he or indeed any of the changes can conjure up something special here. So Kobe looking a little bit panicked, and here he comes, to Wakatsuki. Deep to begin with. There's the overlapper. Rushed across by Origome. There's so much energy and belief now in Niigata coming forward. Origome there down the left-hand side. Origome again. Katsuki. Origome. Cross in by Takagi. Half away, Osaka. Pass from Iroza. Miyashiro won't get there. Well, there's extra spring in the step now. 15 shots to 4. 10 of them on target from Vissel Kobe, but all of a sudden the 2-1 lead is looking precarious. Here's Origome. Tees up Asegawa, nudge in and over the top. They're being very intricate in the penalty area here. Shimamura on the turn. I think that was on the way. Looking for his second goal, Shimamura. Defender blocked it. They come again. Muto Origome. A good ball in. Only half away. Hanging on right now, Vissel. Cross comes in from the right-hand side this time. Matthias Thüler is there. Osako skims it away. But Albirex hungrier to every loose ball now. Geria. There goes Morais. Give himself room to create something. Shirai, Origome, nudge it across. There's fluidity, there's accuracy, there's poise and purpose in the way they're attacking now. So Kobe looking to take the sting out with a couple of changes of their own. So Koya Yuruki here, and Yuki Honda. No more Miyashiro, no more Muto. It's two of them, front three taken off. Nagato withdrawn as well. So Honda will be the replacement fullback. Attacking player, pretty versatile as a forward here, normally left-sided. Koya Yuruki obliges on the bench. 13th occasion for Vissel Kobe this season. Ogiara. Nudge on there for Sasaki. Guerilla, that's resolute. Shirai. Origome. Raga stayed down there. Super play again, just to play in Takagi. Finally, the flag is raised. Just peeled away, hadn't he? Set off too early. And penny for the thoughts of the Antlers and Kyoto Sanga right now. Watching Vissel Kobe up against it in the last 10 minutes here at the Big Swan. Psychologically, that opening goal from Osako, so important. Last action of the first half. Compounded by that penalty, the VAR decision that went against Albirex at the start of the second. But you have to commend the way Albirex Niigata have got themselves back into this one. All over for them at the Big Swan Stadium. They have the potential to affect the title race even further because it's Kashiwa Reysol here in their last match at home. 30th of November, Shonan Bellmare next opponents on the 8th of November for the team, seemingly headed for J2. FC Tokyo away on the last day. That'll be the J1 swan song for Albirex. as we take a keen eye as well, or place a keen eye on the outcome of the J2 title race. It's wonderful the way teams tend to, generally speaking, be evenly matched at the top of these leagues. Muto making a nuisance of himself. Right now, it's Vivara Nagasaki and Mito Hollyhock on the way up into J1, 63 and 61 points respectively at the top of the second division. But Mito Hollyhock, who've never ever been in J1, are only 3 points behind the third place team. Osako looking for his third goal of the game, edges it just wide. Just up their level again, and that high fullback was exposed on the right side of the Albirex defence. It's a lovely little move. Osako feeds that through the legs of Ayakawa. Just a little burst in possession there, while soaking up all this pressure late on. Yaruki, as the substitute, well forward, found all that room on the left-hand side. Here's the corner. Away from the danger zone. Throw in here for Vissel Kobe. That was Yoruki. Stay in enemy territory. Yoruki takes two defenders with him. Nothing doing. Well, he's been a vital part of the squad the last couple of years, Yaruki. Quite made the breakthrough that many thought he would to the national setup. So he's a backup player, really, or a Champions League starting player, rather than having a significant influence on the league squad or the league team. Just taken the sting out of this late pressure from Niigata of Vissel Kobe. It'll be a 9th win on their travels if they could see it through. Same as Kyoto Sanga on the road, same as the Antlers on the road. Right now, it's Vissel Kobe moving up to 64 points. 2 points ahead of them would be Kashiwa Reysol. 1 point ahead of Reysol would be the Antlers. That's how close it is. Even in 4th, it would be Kyoto Sanga on 62 points. 9 points still to play for. 5 points separating the top 4. That is the situation to which we're headed right now in J1. No rush to get this throw-in in play. Here come Albirex. Matthias Marais. Back to Mekawa. Another backtracking fullback. This is the danger. Holes opening up at the back, which Yuya Osako looks to exploit. Yoruki now. Sasaki in the middle. Muto's there as well. Osako has taken up his place in the middle. Cross fails to clear the first defender there. Yaria. Shidai. Beautiful ball inside the fullback here. What a chance for 2-2! Can you believe that? Albirex Niigata may be down and out of J1 this season, but that doesn't stop them ruining the three-peat plans of Vissel Kobe. Extraordinary. The final 10 minutes here. It is 2-2. It is Yamato Wakatsuki drifting through off the bench to become an Albirex Niigata hero. Never started for the club, never scored for them. He scored now, and how Vissel Kobe feel it. Wonderful composed finish, beating Mikawa at his near post, and the goalkeeper will be cursing himself with that. Are we witnessing the dissolution of Vissel Kobe's title challenge? Niigata relegated already. Kobe 2-0 up against them, and they haven't been able to see it out. He says, as we move into stoppages, it's 2-2. Is there room for another twist and turn in the title race? Nudge back for Osako. Niigata repel it. Drama and madness at the end of this match, and indeed the J1 season writ large. Here comes the throw. They need a flick. They've got a flick. Drifts over Osako. Well, it's sat up for someone to be a hero. Well, nothing is going to dim the spirits of these J-League tifosis, but it'll be an entirely different journey back now to the Kobe, won't it? If they can't find a late winner, they're going to have to try and win it all over again here, Vissel Kobe. On ice. It's been instrumental in turning the tide for Albirex Niigata. And the Brazilian runs aggressively again at Vissel Kobe, clatters into the defender. No foul, looks like he's going to stay on the ground there, Morais. Ball forward for Muto is not precise. Breathless stuff. Ball lofted forward for Osako. Taking the throw in quick. Ball has to come into the penalty area. Hiroza. Ayakawa at the near post, then Yamakawa. It's out of play. Hiroza again. Once more, let's use that overlapper. Nothing doing. Ogiara, who sees yellow here. Nicely done. Korea setting up that attack. Long ball. So they're in for Takagi. He's going to win that loose ball. The answer is Vissel Kobe with Yoshimoto. To the last minute of time added on. Hideguchi back for Muto. Can't make it stick. Hasegawa lofts it on. Marai drifted past that last defender. He's going to take on Yamakawa here. Oh, he almost fed the shot inside Makawa's opposite near post. So the one which he conceded to Wakatsuki. Well, that would have been stretching the limits of imagination there. Had 2-0 down, become 3-2 up for a team already down. But Matthias Marais has been fantastic since coming on for Albirex. Had support up there as well in Wakatsuki. Very nearly beat Mikawa there. Here is the Albirex Niigata corner. Kobe have repelled it. And that is full time at the Big Swan Stadium. What a finish. Vissel Kobe are surely out of the title race now. They had to win with it so tight at the top, and with the Antlers and Kashiwa Reysol winning on this 35th match week of the season. Vissel Kobe had it in the palm of their hand with 2 Yuya Osako goals either side of half-time. 2-0 up and cruising against a side already relegated and who hadn't won in the 16 matches. Well, it's 17 without a win for Albirex, but this will feel like a win. The way they have saved themselves with 2 late goals. A phenomenal comeback from Albirex Niigata, and they could have stolen the win as well. But Vissel Kobe, well, the expressions worn on the faces of their players tell you all you need to know. They feel they've blown it, and I suspect they possibly have. Shimamura and Wakatsuki with the saving goals for Albirex Niigata in a breathless 2-2 draw. So, Vissel Kobe have to pick themselves up. Of course they will pick themselves up. But it's 62 points rather than 64. It leaves them 5 shy of Kashima Antlers. And the opportunity to be the first team in Japan since the Antlers in the late 2000s to win 3 titles in a row is surely gone now. They can't believe it, can they? Osako did his bit with the header and then the penalty. But with absolutely nothing to lose in their season, the subs for Albirex Niigata came on and changed the entire complexion. Okatsuki was excellent, Marais was excellent. And the former scored the goal, his first goal for Albirex that salvaged a 2-2 draw. Phenomenal stuff. A penny for the thoughts of the Antlers and Kashiwa Reysol. The perfect result for them. Going to be fascinating to hear some reaction from Albirex in the tunnel at the end of this one.
チームが苦しい状況に変わりましたが、若月選手の J1 初ゴールで同点に追いつきました。今の心境をお聞かせください。
初ゴール決めれたっていうのは素直に本当に嬉しいです。
J1 での舞台で決めたゴールというのを感触いかがでしたか？
いや本当に今日 降下が決まった中ですし、雨の中ですけど、本当に多くのサポーターが応援に来てくれて、情けない試合できないですし、本当に自分たちのプライドを持って戦ったゲームで、